Our title was Working in Tandem, Roles of Teachers and Co-Teachers and Effective Communication. The first verse that we want to share with you, and you'll get a handout that has this on it, is found in Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 and 12. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. And one of the things that always struck me when I came to Trinity and heard about the hybrid method that we were using here was that we needed to be a good teamwork between the teachers and the parents, the teachers and the co-teachers. And then when it talks about the third cord, we need to bring Christ into all of it. And we need to, some of you might remember in our call-outs, sometimes we say, before we speak,
Hey,
T,
true.
H,
Is it helpful?
I,
Is it inspiring?
N,
Is it necessary?
K.
Is it kind?
Those are such good thoughts to think before we speak to anyone about anything. And so as we do that as a call out with our grammar school, we can all use that reminder to always speak in the right way, even if we have something difficult to say. There was another verse that the Lord gave me on the way to school today because I was listening to the radio and a pastor read this and I was like, this goes right along with what we're talking about. It's in Proverbs 25, verse 11. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver. I always loved that word picture. Apples of gold in a setting of silver. What a beautiful piece that must be. And how beautiful our words can be when we speak them with the right attitude and using God's grace to share things. So we just have a short time. So we only have 15 minutes, so we got to figure this out. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the documents that we have available for parents, and I'm going to talk about the grammar school. And our main thing is the lesson plan Google Doc. And some important things to remember is that I think all of the teachers in the left-hand column will have important links that you can use throughout the year. And in mine, for instance, I will have a Latin link for the Latin that we will do the fourth quarter, but I give it to you for the whole year. And I encourage you to sing the song with your kids, because then when we get to the fourth quarter, they already know the song and the English, and then we can really work on the Latin. There's many links that teachers put there. So if they put something on their lesson plan and you can't find it, look in that first column and see if they have it there. I always try to link things on each day also, but sometimes I forget. So, and I don't mind if you call and ask me or send me a text, and I can't find what you mentioned here, and I will help you find it, or I will send it if I forgot. Because, you know, we all make mistakes. And a mistake is?
Chance to learn.
So I always kind of enjoy it when my students catch me on a mistake, because then I can tell them that. It's a chance for me to learn, and that helps them know that mistakes are okay. So the next thing is, each of us have our contact information, also in that first column. And all of us will welcome texts, I'm assuming text, emails, or phone calls. Some of you might have a more specific time or a specific way to get hold of you, but we welcome this communication. And some people, so from time to time, my lesson plans, I did something wrong, if you can imagine that. And a parent will send me a text and say, I can't find this. And I was like, I forgot to put that in there. So then I can tell all the parents. So don't feel like you can't tell us if you're missing something, because that gives us the opportunity to let everybody know, oh, I forgot to send this, but here's a link. And these Google Docs, some of you are new. They come out on Monday mornings. I think it's around 8 o'clock for the whole week. But they're not the final thing. For grammar school, we do what we can to try to set up a week. But you know what? Things don't always happen the way we expected. So each day that they come home, like on Tuesday when they come home, and you're going to have school with them on Wednesday, or on Thursday, you're going to have school with them on Friday. And there will be a checklist for the grammar school teachers. And that is our most recent information about what we want you to do. So I would also want to mention that on, I think, all of our checklists, we have a place for feedback. Now on mine, I put a checkbox. You don't have to spend a lot of time on this. Like, did you have a great day? Did you have a wonderful day? Did you have a disappointing day? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Was it fun? And you can do a checkbox. Then I give lines. And these really help us as teachers, your input to know how you are how things are going for you at home. And it's a quick way for you to communicate with us. It doesn't take a text, a phone call, an email, anything. Just put a check mark or write a little note. And some of my students write notes, which is really fun. Like, I had a great day. And that just makes the teacher feel wonderful. And if they said they struggled, then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to go over that again. So that feedback, that instant feedback on the checklists is a wonderful thing for you to use. And I feel like maybe it's not being utilized as much as it could at times.
So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Becky Cannon. I started last year teaching in the Logic School, and I teach some classes 7 through 10. And so the Google Doc, I did that with my own kiddo as a co-teacher, and it kind of switches to facilitator. The parent becomes the facilitator. So some of you are familiar with the doc, and some of you are like full facilitator mode, and like you're working, you're good. I would encourage you to look through those plans and kind of see what we're studying. Like, that is a wonderful opportunity to open discussion and dialogue. It is different for our kids at our level because they're taking so many different classes with so many different teachers. And so one of those really quick tools that's very helpful is the Find feature in your Google Doc. You can hit Control F and type in their name, and it will show you every time their name is on there, and you can find their classes fairly easily. That is the number one way that teachers communicate plans with parents and co-teachers, and that's the best tool I think I can think of. Our contact information is not with our class, it's actually at the bottom. So there's a lot of scrolling because there are a lot of plans. I think we looked and it was maybe 24 pages long. It's quite lengthy, but if you're looking for a teacher, you can use that Control Find feature and scroll down to the bottom and you'll find our email as well. I am more than happy to field phone calls, although they make me a little bit nervous, or a text, or an email, and I have my friends who surround me and say, hey, did you get an email? So please be patient with me personally in a response. The syllabuses that we have for classes, when they're available, they are also linked there. So if you want to see a really wonderful overview of what your kids are learning, the texts that they're reading, those are really useful tools as well. So that's an excellent way to kind of get information if you're seeking information.
One thing that I wanted to mention, because this happened to me a couple of years ago, is go into Facts. If you don't know how, Mrs. Wright is the expert on that. But go into Facts and check your information and make sure your phone number, your email, and your address are all correct in there, because I had a co-teacher who changed phones and forgot to enter it in Facts. And so I was sending out all these texts to some stranger. He was kind enough to say, I don't think you mean to send this to me. So then I was able to get things worked out. But at the first of the year now, we're getting all set up with group texts and getting our emails all lined up so I can send an email to all of my parents or co-teachers. And so just go in there and double check and make sure that everything is current, because it can be rather, because I just assumed they were getting them. And so that's just one little tidbit that might help you to not hear things when you should be hearing them. Today, at the end of this time period here, we are going to be going to the classrooms, and you will be having one-on-one time with your teachers. And that's a good thing to utilize and to get your questions in your mind that you might want to ask them. And the other thing that we wanted to mention was parent-teacher conferences. They come up in October and in March. And these are such a wonderful opportunity for us to share face-to-face. And just before you come, think ahead of things you might like to ask or questions you have. Maybe you don't understand why something is done a certain way. Those are good times for us just to sit down and talk. And there's just something about sitting down across the table from somebody and sharing things that's so much easier even than a text or an email or a phone call. So think about those as a good opportunity to communicate with the teachers. Communication is an essential part of the co-teacher relationship, and we appreciate your investment in clear communication with us, and we hope that we have clear communication with you. We have like 5 minutes for question and answers. So we were thinking if anybody had a question about communication or about a Google Doc or a fax or anything, this would be a good time for you to ask them.
He understands all of it.